Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritually Fucked podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Mulholland. Let's get into the show. What happened when I ghosted everyone for 2 months? Hello, everyone. How's the day going? My day is going great. I once again have no right recording a podcast at this time with everything I have to do. I am moving next week. Well, I'm actually moving in a few weeks, but I am leaving for Arizona on Wednesday, and then the second I land at midnight on the 26th, I have to wake up the next day and move on the 27th. And I'm also dog sitting, and you don't want to hear my schedule. Or maybe you do, but you can ask me personally. But a lot's going on, and I need to pack up my house in the next few days. And also pack for a fun, super fun trip coming up. And it's going to be a little crazy, but I just felt really inspired to sit and record because, again, this is my last few days in this home where I started my podcast. This is the home I moved in when I moved to Boulder. And so a lot of emotions are coming up, and I have a lot of gratitude for this place that I'm at in life and also this home that I'm at. And I've had a lot of growth here. There's been a lot of candles lit, magic candles. There's been a lot of combo ceremonies. There's been a lot of breathwork sessions. There's been a lot of sleep. There's been a lot of sleepless nights. I published my first book here. I finished my second book here, and I started a podcast here. Like, there's just so many things that happened in this home, and I'm so grateful for it. And it's just, I'm gonna be leaving it and starting a new chapter, which is really exciting, but it's also sad. Life is bittersweet. But anyways, back to me ghosting everyone. I don't want to rain on your parade. But maybe someone needed to hear that. I'm just going to start listening to those little voices in my head that start to go insane. And I call that channeling. When my mind starts going all over the place, I call it channeling. Hire me for parties. But anyways, why I ghosted everyone for 2 months. I've been wanting to make this podcast, and this kind of went back to the hey, let me reintroduce myself podcast, because I needed to reintroduce myself after being gone for 2 months, which another reason I really wanted to film is because I'm editing my other ones, and all my other podcasts are like, all right, everyone, I'm going to India. Like, I'm going to be in India. If you don't hear from me, I'm in India. And I never fucking went to India, if you didn't get that. So I'll just sum up the story. I told everyone I was going to India. I had a flight booked, okay? I went to Chicago. I went far enough. And I ended up being in Chicago for a week. And then I was like, I don't want to go to India anymore. It would cost me $2,000 for a new plane ticket. My body was wrecked after being locked in an airport hotel for 1 week. I'm all over the place. I'm channeling. So anyways, I told everyone I was going to India, literally on my podcast, on Instagram, on Facebook, in person. And then I flew to go, and then I ended up being locked in Chicago, and I didn't go. But that didn't change my intention. My intention was to disconnect from the world and ghost everyone for as long as I can. And so I ended up flying home after being a week in Chicago, and everyone thought I was in India. And so I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna take this and run. And so all my friends were texting me, and I just wasn't replying. I literally was ghosting them. I was acting like I wasn't here, which I really wasn't. I mean, I was here with myself, and so I wasn't on my phone a lot. It was set aside, and I learned a fucking lot, and it was a really fun time, first of all, because, I just went inward, and I was off Instagram. I literally was not talking to anyone. All my friends thought I was in a foreign country, and I got so much done. I finished my second book. I don't know, I fucking cleaned my house. Like, I did a bunch of shit, but I really took advantage of me time. And I had to make a lot of big decisions within this time. And I did it all with myself, like a big girl. And, I have in my Instagram bio, still trying to figure things out. And I don't know if I can ever get rid of that because I am always trying to just still figure things out. You know, an Instagram bio is like a big deal. Like, that's the first thing people see of you when they go on your Instagram. Like, who is this girl? What does her bio say? And mine says, still just trying to figure things out. Because it's true. One day I'm an astrologer, one day I serve combo. One day I'm a poet, one day I'm a dog sitter. One day I just don't want to do anything and I just want to be a girl. Okay? I'm still trying to figure things out. And during this time, I had to make a lot of big decisions. And I didn't have anyone to go to but myself. And I did that on purpose because I caught when I wanted to reach out or ask for help. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I think having a good, solid support system, good friends, is really important and it's really valuable. And they are there when you need them. But at the end of the day, where are you for yourself? And I was nowhere close to being there for myself. And when you put your life in other people's hands over and over and over again, you forget what it feels like to hold your own. And I forgot what it felt like to hold myself. And so ghosting everyone for 2 months, I could only hold myself in these moments. Whenever I wanted to text a friend, I paused and I said, okay, why? Am I trying to avoid? Am I trying to escape? Same thing, pretty much. Am I trying to get validated? Am I trying to sympathize? Like, why? Not anything wrong, just coming from the lens of the observer. Why am I reaching out or wanting to reach out? And then I learned to deal with it on my own. And I learned a fucking lot. I learned that I do reach out a lot to my friends because I want a distraction from my present feeling or from my current responsibilities. Or I reach out to a friend right away because I don't want them to leave me. Oh my gosh, if I don't text them back, they're never going to talk to me again and they're going to think I left them and then they're going to leave me. That's not a healthy pattern. What is that, anxious, avoidant? I don't fucking know. It's something attachment. And I paused. And, you know, my best friends were texting me sometimes multiple days in a row and I just didn't respond. I said, you know what? I'm going to let it sit. And if they're not there for me after this experiment, well, then they're not meant to be my friend. And not to test them or anything at all, but I was testing myself. And guess what, people? All my connections after the trip suddenly got stronger. Weird, because maybe the relationship with myself got stronger. And you guys, there was times when I thought these motherfuckers were gonna leave. There was times when I was like, I'm gonna come out of this and no one's gonna want to be friends with me because they're gonna find out I'm a phony, they're gonna find out I'm fake, they're gonna find out I'm a quitter, they're gonna find out that I just sat at home and didn't respond to them and they're not gonna want to be my friend anymore. And I sat with those feelings and boy, were they false. They were false identities that I was meaning to let go of. And I realized just because an experience happened in the past like that doesn't mean it's truth. I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I do kind of have abandonment issues. And so I was almost abandoning myself to be avoided being abandoned by others. Which in reality, if you look at fucking reflections, as within, so without, you're going to be abandoned anyways. And so I learned how to make decisions for myself with myself and not let anyone else influence me. Not that it's a bad thing again, but you know, sometimes people don't have their best interests in mind for you. If you have a great friend, great parent, great partner, I hate the word partner. Like, be a boyfriend, a girlfriend. You know, a partner, I don't know. Are you guys partners or are you lovers? Like, if you got a good lover and they have your best interest in mind, it's great to ask them. But if you're asking someone who's, you know, not really there or just like doesn't have time for you or doesn't really care for you, doesn't want the best for you, it could kind of fuck up your life. You know, you ask a friend like, hey friend, and this friend's like jealous of you or wants to see the worst come out of you, and you ask them for a decision and then they tell you the decision because they want you to fail. It's like, you know, you really shouldn't be friends with people like that, but you know, you never know. And so I had to move out, I had to find jobs, and I let myself do it with myself. And I also didn't want other people's energies influencing these big decisions because I'm very easily influenced. I don't know if you know this. For some things, yes. For other things, not really. But I have an open headspace in human design, which means I absorb, which also means I'm a channeler. So I'm really good at channeling. But I absorb things like really easily, and I can read people's thought fields. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but I can fucking read people's minds. Like, it's really easy. Everyone can do it. It's a gift everyone has. But I just, I've done enough of pineal gland meditations. I've detoxed my pineal gland enough where I can read someone's fucking mind just by their energy. We have thought fields. It's pretty easy. Okay. I absorb people's thoughts, and sometimes I don't know if those thoughts are mine or theirs. And it's like, even on Instagram, when you're looking at a picture, you're absorbing those person's thoughts. You're literally a sponge. And if you're not strong or have spiritual protection, you could start absorbing things. And I just was at a place before I left, quote unquote, left for India, that I was fucking absorbing everything. And I just felt so clustered. And so I was learning to not only be with myself, but to kind of cleanse from all the thoughts that were not mine and like return to my own thoughts. And, it's been great since. But yeah, I just, I didn't want anyone's energy like affecting my job positions. If I was like, oh, I'm applying for this job, I didn't want someone to be like, well, do you even want to do that? Like even small questions like that, like I just wanted to fucking go for it. And so I ghosted everyone for 2 months. And I don't think everyone has to do this. I think when you were in a place where I was, when I needed to fucking like leave because I was exerting so much energy, I was posting every day. I was just like, give, 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 which that's great. We're meant to do that as humans, but when am I going to give to myself? And so I had to disconnect and I had to give to myself for 2 months, or as long as it took. I was only going to be gone for 3 weeks. I took it 2 months. And so that felt great for me. I just took it day by day. Pisces season is a great time to really go inward. And I just wanted to figure out what I wanted to do. And I think when you are on social media, there's this group mind virus. It's so easy to start to want to do what everyone's doing. I want to travel now because she's in Italy, which I'm going to Italy this year, but it's for a wedding. I actually want to do that. It's not just because I saw a picture on Pinterest. I actually want to go. My soul is calling me. And so I'm going. And I made these decisions all on my own without asking people. But when someone's launching a course, I literally am like, well, I want to launch a course. Or when someone's like, I don't know, selling stuff, I'm like, I want to sell stuff now. Or when someone's making pottery, I'm like, I want to make pottery now. It's like, do I? Or is it this group mind virus that we have to do everything? And I needed to just fucking detox. I needed to quote unquote go to India to find myself again. And I found myself right here in Boulder, Colorado. And I realized you don't need to spend $2,000 in a 17-hour plane ride to find yourself. Because wherever you go, there you are. So you might as well like where you are now. And if you don't, you get to change that. And I was at a point where I got to change that, and I made a lot of changes, and I did it without having anyone influence me, And it was not easy. There was some turmoil I went through. I started to realize all the times that I was giving up my own voice for someone else's, or I was doing things because someone told me to do them, and that's fucking sad, because at the end of the day, we die alone. Sorry, hate to break it to you. And not like physically die alone, like maybe you die on the Titanic and everyone's dying together. But your soul is the only thing hopping with you on that next life. And trust me, I believe we travel in soul families. I believe we find our people again in the next lives. But that's just you and your soul on the next evolution. So what you do in this life, it's gonna determine what happens in that next life. And so if you're constantly living for other people, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, what are you doing? I feel like this is the life. This is the lifetime. This is the blip in eternity that I'm fucking living for myself this time. Took 29 years. Shit. live at home with mommy until I'm 30. Not this girl. I'm moving out the month before I turn 30. So that didn't happen. But seriously, how many times are you going to submit to the things you don't want to do because you're afraid that person's going to leave you? Or you're afraid you're not going to get enough likes on Instagram. Like, what the fuck are we doing, people? Live for yourself. And I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm the choir and the preacher. I'm doing this for me this time. And I really am sharing this because I learned a lot on my 2-month hiatus. And I want to inspire you not to ghost everyone, but to come back to yourself. How can you take a few moments or a few times every week when you're wanting to exput energy or talk to one of your friends and just pause? Nothing wrong with that. But just pause and ask why. I believe intention is everything. Why are you doing it? And can you cope yourself? I learned how to cope myself a lot. I had to cope with myself a lot because I was going through a lot of emotions. And, you know, Pinterest was there for me to cope. The Office was there for me. These are shows and things that calm my nervous system. But you know what else was there? Was a lot of silence. I spent a lot of time just laying on the floor in silence. And, you know, granted, I've created a life where I can do that because I still live at home with my mommy. But I got comfortable with, what if this is it? How can I feel worthy by laying on the floor doing nothing? And that's a hard moment for a lot of people. How can I feel worthy when I am not doing anything? It's not easy. And I realized I was covering my low self-worth with activities, with talking to people, and with posting on Instagram. It's not a bad thing, but it's the truth. And I'm saying this to maybe catch you in one of your patterns. Like, why are you doing the things you're doing? Again, nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you, but just ask yourself why. Again, intention is everything. Attention to your intention. How about that for a reminder? Just pause and say, okay, why am I doing the things I'm doing? Am I seeking for a feeling? Or can I feel that feeling and share it? The energy is different. And yeah, I just was coming from a place before I went to quote unquote India. I was just like giving and giving all this energy out because I wanted to be the good friend. I wanted to be the good social media influencer. I wanted to be the funny girl, which I want to be all those things, but it was coming from this place where I was wanting those things. And then I pulled back and I said, how can I feel these things without doing anything? How can I lay on the floor and be the lazy piece of shit and still feel of value? How can I feel valuable when I'm not doing anything? Ouch, people. It's not easy. There was a time when I was laying on the floor eating chocolate, and my mom was looking at me like I was a worthless piece of shit. While she's cleaning and cleaning up the house, I just sat there on the floor watching my movie, and it was hard for me. You know, the second I saw her eyes land on me, I wanted to stand up and start cleaning and doing something and acting like I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl because I'm doing the dishes, or I'm a good girl because I cleaned my room. No, I said I'm going to sit in this feeling and just relax. I'm going to watch 27 Dresses and eat my chocolate on the floor. And I'm going to feel of worth, because just being a human being is worthy enough. And I'm not making this an excuse for not doing shit in this life, but I am giving you a permission slip to feel of worth, to reclaim your self-worth without an exchange of action. Because how exhausting is it going to be if you only feel self-worth if you're constantly doing and exputting energy? Ouch. Ouch again. Ouch town, baby. That's what I'm here for. But to sum it up, to round this out, this might not be the end, but truly, if you keep having to do stuff to feel valuable, where are you missing the point? What happens if all that stuff gets taken away from you? That's a really fun thing to look at. What if your Instagram account got taken away? Poof, it didn't exist. What if your job didn't exist? Poof, it got taken away. What if your friends, your community, your family didn't exist? Poof, they went away. How would you be? Would you be happy with yourself? That is the question I want you to ask. Because when I asked myself that question, the opposite happened. I said, damn, I fucking love my life. I love myself. I love where I'm at. Everything around me is just a plus. And so if all that shit goes away, I'm going to be okay. And that was the magic sauce I needed. It might not be the same for you. You might say, oh my God, my friends are gone. My Instagram's gone. My money is gone. My career's gone. My title's gone. I'll be nothing and I'll feel worthless. Well, that's the moment you get to change and you get to find your worth. If you can be happy where you are without anything around you ever coming in contact with you again, how would your life look? How would you feel? That is the point of life, is to be happy, okay, and in love with yourself as you are without these external things. And these external things are just a plus. And that is to experience life. It is such a fucking gift to have friends, to have a job you like, to have a job you don't like. Because it's teaching you to love yourself a little bit more. It's teaching you to find something you do love or to change your life around. But it is such a gift to be able to do the things we get to do in this life. But we shouldn't have to achieve and do those things to feel worthy of it. To feel worthy of this life. We should literally feel worthy of this life. Well, we shouldn't, should. I hate the word should. Because it usually comes from an ego. Like, we should do this. We should go to work. We should be a good friend. It's like, we get to feel worthy of this existence and this life simply just by breathing. We get to have our friends. We get to have a career. We get to travel. It's all a plus. And that's what I learned on my 2-month hiatus, is when we disconnect, we get to reconnect with ourselves. And I actually like myself now. So weird. When I started to lose the societal programming or the false narratives I was living in, I was like, you know what, damn. As long as I'm a soul on this earth and I get to smell flowers and look at trees and hear birds, like, dude, I'm fucking happy. Yes, I want my Range Rover. Yes, I want a nice house. Yes, I want to go to Italy every year and travel around Europe. I want all of those things and I get to experience them one day. But right now, where I'm at, is pretty darn good too. And I think we sometimes forget because we're so distracted by our external environment. And so, again, you don't need to ghost everyone for 2 months or take 2 months off social media. We can just do it in micro moments. I think the small moments we make every day add up. I just didn't do that for a few months in a year, so I needed to take a big moment off, but 10 minutes a day. That's my challenge for you, is 10 minutes a day in silence. Just you. No phone, no music, no meditation. Just like you, baby. Sitting staring at a wall. Or close your eyes and lay down. And I'm not talking about before bed or when you first wake up in the morning. I'm saying in the middle of the day, 10 minutes. TV off. Everything off. You can go out in nature, but just be with yourself and see what that's like for 10 minutes. Set a timer. Maybe the next day will be 11. Maybe you'll go up to 20. Maybe you'll realize you love it so much you'll spend a whole day with nothing but yourself. Because isn't that the point? And everything else is just a plus. And so I'm going to leave that there. I adore you so much. And I might be in a new space the next time I record. And so I really want to close this chapter by saying I'm so beyond grateful for everyone that I get to experience, who gets to experience me. I don't take things for granted, and I don't take connections lightly. I'm a very deep person, okay? I'm a deep girl. And I truly love life and this experience, and I just want you to love it as much as I do, or more. Maybe we can make it a competition. Are you competitive? Who can love life more? That's the homework I'm going to leave you with. Who can love life more? Okay? Everyone? Make it a great day. I had to end it. I had to end it just a little bit more cliche, but anyways, I hope you're living a good life. And if you're not, let me know. Maybe I can be a friend to boost you up. But try to boost yourself up first. I think that was the point of this. Boost yourself up first. If you literally still want to kill yourself, then reach out to someone. But and I can be that for you because I'm a mentor. But I'm gonna end it there. Okay, everyone. Bye.